Hey Scorpio, I'm doing a reading for you for the full moon in Virgo. Scorpio, at this time, I feel like you are so aggravated. I feel like you've been putting in the work in. I feel like you've been showing up. I feel like you've been doing these things. I just feel like for some reason things are just not uploading in the way that is necessary for you. Things are you're not getting like the things here that are like really like wanting you to like succeed here as well. Trust in this process. I feel like the reason why these things aren't coming in for you this time is because you're going through a huge transformation. I feel like everything that has you've been working towards all this time, like I feel like it's out with the old and with the new, right? I feel like there's very much a space here where you're really trusting in the process. I feel like it may take some time for all of your effort to like see results, all your work to see results here, but I feel like you are so tunnel vision. I feel like you're trusting in the process here as well, right? You know that what it is you're trying to build is going to be something so great and so grand, right? I feel like there's been a lot of past behaviors, a lot of toxicity within yourself. I just saw the devil card. I feel like there's been a lot of things that you've really been working through for you, right? Like I feel like there's been like a grouchy, grumpus, angry, cranky energy, and then we have the Seven of Pentacles. That's what I'm saying. I feel like there's been a grouchy, grumpy, angry, depressy, not feeling good energy that you've been working through up to this point, right? I feel like it's because you were going through a shift, especially here with this trust card and the Seven of Pentacles. You've been working on yourself. You've been working on things that nobody else around you can see because you're not talking about them here as well, right? I feel like other people are noticing like, hey, you're not your happy, cheery, chipper self, but I feel like it's a space here where you're like hunkering down, like you're burying yourself like 10 toes deep, like as long as like stay down till you come up, that type of aspect here within yourself. And I feel like there's very much an aspect where you could be working with nature a lot more and like seeing how certain things are buried and like how they grow up, you know, and how beautiful they are. Like I feel like there's very much a space here where even if you're having a whole bunch of bullshit like piled on top of you here as well, like I feel like there's very much a space where you know that like this is for the next purpose. This is for the next stage of the game. Like I feel like you couldn't go to the next step, the next stage until you got through some pretty traumatic, pretty frustrating things here for yourself, right? There's very much been an aspect within yourself where you're letting all the dirty, darkest parts of you like be shown because you know who you are, you know your truth. We have the Ace of Swords, yeah. You know who you are, you know your truth, you know what it is you're trying to build, you know what it is you're trying to go, you know where you're going. And I feel like there's very much a space of like security, of groundedness. I feel like you could be working with the color red a lot more. Yes, and then we have the Three of Wands. You're focusing in on your future. You're focusing in on what it is you're trying to go to, right? Like there's been very much a space here where in the past you could have felt very bogged down, like you have no hope, you have no faith, you have no future, you know, this is just it. I feel like this was years ago, and I feel like you after going through such a dark time in your life, I feel like there's been a space here where you're like I have a job. I'm going in there after I'm an independent contractor, so you know I can make my own hours and I have a job. Thanks, Dusty. Ugh. Yeah, I feel like there's very much a space here where you're making where it is you're trying to like set yourself. I feel like there's contracts that are coming out. I feel like there's new opportunities. I feel like there's new agreements here that are coming in. I feel like you really could have allowed yourself to be tied in with certain contracts, certain people here as well that genuinely were not for you. Well, and you're ugly and you dusty, huh? Right? Let me see. Hey, good morning. There we go. Hey, good morning. Yeah, if you're gonna be ugly, then go home. You don't have to stay here. Yes. I feel like there's very much a person around you at this time. This could be a Queen of Swords. This is Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. I feel like this is very much a person who is very supportive, very loving, and very caring for you here as well. Thank you so much for liking. I feel like this is somebody who is coming in and offering you like a new start. I feel like you're very surprised at this, right? Like I feel like this is very much a space of a reunion. You could also be having a reunion here with an Aquarius as well, right? There's very much a space here where I feel like your hands are being tied in this situation. I feel like they're almost like sneak attacking you, like to like have this like form of forgiveness here as well, like this understanding. And I feel like there's a space here where you're really very soft and very gentle on the inside here as well. But I feel like there's very much a space here where you're almost putting on this mask to let another person know, don't take your kindness for weakness. I feel like there's very much a space here where you're really trusting in your intuition. You're trusting in what it is you're trying to do here as well, right? There could definitely be a Queen of Cups. This could just be you, Scorpio. I feel like there's a whole new game plan. I feel like there's a lot of forgiveness, a lot of understanding here that you're doing for yourself and for others here as well. I feel like that's really helping you take a whole forward movement. I feel like there's been a lot of like resentment that you've almost been working through up to this point, right? A lot of frustrating, hurt feelings here. I feel like you just were not letting things go in the way that was necessary for you, right? And I feel like you're building up all this hate, you're building up all this resentment, you're building up all this anger, but keep in mind you're a Scorpio. You got to knock this shit down. You got to start over. You got to move through it, right? You can't go under it. You got to go through it, right? Oh, thank you so much for the hearts. I feel like shout out what? What do you want me to shout out? I feel like there's very much a space here where it's time for you to start letting things go. I feel like there's going to be hard, tough conversations that are coming in for you at this time. Conversations you're really not wanting to have, Scorpio, but it's time for you to like put on your big girl panties, really face the world and do what it is that's necessary here, right? And we have the Hangman. I feel like you're really viewing a lot of situations that you've been carrying along with you in a different way. And I feel like that's really helping you transmute certain energy here that just has not been for you, right? And we have the Five of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. I feel like there's definitely a space here where a lot of people could have been talking about your financial situation. They could have been talking about your body. They could have been, I feel like it's almost like a bullying aspect. Somebody like making fun of you, judging you, gossiping about you, talking, oh yeah, hey Camden. Yeah. I feel like there's been very much a space here where people have been hurting your feelings. Oh, thank you so much for all the hearts. I feel like there's very much a space here where you could have been manifesting this for yourself. I feel like you really could have started believing like other people's opinions and thoughts about you, right? And I feel like there's very much a space here where once again you're standing on all 10 toes at this time. I feel like there's very much a space here where you're being so protective of your heart, of your emotions, of your feelings here as well. You know your truth. Like you see yourself, you hear yourself, you know who you are, you know how wise you can be here as well, right? And I feel like the more that you're staying grounded within this energy, really protecting yourself, honing in on this, right? Blocking out people, places, and things that are distractions and are taking you off of your goal here as well. Like you are a blessing. Each and every part of you, every inch of you, it's a blessing here as well. And if somebody's coming in to almost like pick apart your body, pick apart your personality here as well, talk about your finances, gossip about you here as well, right? Then this is not the person for you. This is not somebody who you can share dinner with. This is not somebody you can break bread with. This is not somebody who can touch your body, especially if it's somebody who's making fun of you, right? And keep in mind, people that are constantly talking about you, like you're going round and round and round in their head, right? And I feel like there's almost a space here where you're realizing like you don't think about these people. You don't think about these aspects. Once you are done in this space, once you go home, like you're not thinking about these people. And I feel like there's very much an aspect here within yourself where you're protecting your peace. You're protecting your happiness. I feel like there's very much a space here where you're genuinely in love with your life, in love with your body, in love with who you are, and everything that you've grown to be up to this point here as well, right? Yeah. Yeah. And then we have the Star card. I feel like you're going through such huge upgrades, such huge forgiveness, such huge understandings about life, about the world here as well, right? Hold on. So this Star card came out in reverse, sitting right next to this Tower card here, right? Sitting right next to this Happiness. I feel like there's definitely an Aquarius that you could be working with at this time. I feel like they're in very much a negative energy. Keep in mind this Tower card, 2-2, is sitting upright, right? I feel like there's very much a space involving this energy, involving this relationship here that has been very toxic, very unhealthy here as well. And I feel like the more that they're trying to like take you for granted, like take your healing, your magic, your wonderfulness, and like almost tamper with it, like hurt your feelings, break your heart, anything like that. Like I feel like they're like almost getting like a wrath. And I feel like you know that and you understand that. Let me get one more card. And then we have the Six of Swords. Yeah, I feel like this is definitely a situation that you're moving away from at this time, especially if it's an Aquarius, right? Like I feel like this is somebody who is very toxic. And keep in mind, like I'm viewing you as this boat here, Scorpio. You're just sitting right next to this moon. And then we have all these swords here. I feel like this is somebody who's very anchored in their negativity, very anchored in the things that are very hurtful here as well, right? I feel like you're moving away from this. I feel like there's very much an aspect here within your own energy, within your own self, that it's time for you to like have some peace, right? It said, would you be willing to sort of debrief a Pisces and Aries relationship? I'm a Pisces. I'm a February Pisces, and I'm best friends with an Aries. But also enemies. Okay, so keep in mind. Okay, so you might be a Pisces, right? And this person's an Aries, right? So Pisces and Aries sit right next to each other. So depending on what you have in your rising sign, your sun sign, your moon sign, and your Venus sign. Keep in mind, also look at your Mars. How is it that you fight with people? And it could be some. So say you and yeah, say one Aries might have like Gemini as their moon, right? And I feel like you know, say you could have like a water moon. I feel like this is very much an aspect where it that fire and that water could be very temperamental here as well. And keep in mind how it is you love people. How is it that you fight with people here as well? How are your emotions? How are you like it's not just you can be friends with one Aries and then the other one irritates the mess out of you, like, right? All Aries are different, all Pisces are different, right? And keep in mind, Aries, they're all about I mean, you might be in like heavy competition with that other Aries, right? And keep in mind, say you might be attracted to somebody down here, right? Like in this earthly realm, in this earthly plane, right? There could also be a sense of like your spiritual selves are like fighting with their spiritual selves, right? And I feel like that's what kind of creates some like toxic relationships. That's why we end up dating like certain people that are not necessarily good for us, right? Or that we, you know, like we fight with a lot. It becomes very unhealthy. There's very much a space here where you just don't know where all aspects are sitting, right? Like my brother's an Aries, right? I don't get along with all Aries. You know, it's you know, there's certain Aries that I've found and I absolutely loved, but you know, not everybody's the same. We don't have all 12 signs in our birth chart. It's just at where is it sitting? How is it sitting? At what degree is it sitting? I feel like and how your energy might be rubbing up against somebody's energy, and it might be toxic or unhealthy, right? Or you may be so attracted to somebody, but it's really like somebody that's, you know, you're fighting with on the spiritual plane, like, and that's what's creating that passion and that tension here as well, right? That's why I would say if somebody gives you like super butterflies, and then keep in mind, look, butterflies. If somebody's giving you like super butterflies, you know, like I always run from that. Like to me, like that's just telling me that's gonna be toxic. Like when you get too, you know, too passionate, too excited, nah, run from that. Right? All right, guys, let's get one card out for how you can help heal this energy. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing here as well, right? It says, let go of guilt. Let go of guilt. When you allow your light to shine brightly, you inspire others. Forgive yourself for what you think you've done or not done, and trust that God loves you unconditionally for who you are. Learn and grow from past mistakes instead of berating yourself for them. Yes, 1303. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for tapping in. I hope y'all are having an awesome day. And then it's out 1202. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing here as well, right? All right, I'll see you guys next. Oh, thank you for the hearts. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.